Woo! A lot of content in this skill and an equally thick review. You ready? As always, listen to the question, pause, reflect on your answer, think about what it is, then unpause to hear me explain what the answers are and why they are what they are. Question number 1. Switches A and B are now connected. Switch A is set to dynamic auto. Switch B is dynamic desirable. Which of the following modes will the two switches negotiate to? Preposition should never end in a preposition. All right. You've got switch A connected to switch B. We've got dynamic auto on this side. That's switch A. Switch B is dynamic desirable. It doesn't matter which side is which. That's going to become a trunk. Because dynamic desirable is like, I want to be. Does that dynamic auto just sits there passively and listens? If someone else wants to be a trunk, it'll be a trunk. It'll flip over. So this ends up being a trunk. If this guide was dynamic auto as well, it would end up being an access port, but it's not because both sides would be passive. These two are not even options. You don't negotiate these two. Those are configuration commands that you would type in to choose one over the other. So the answer is B. Question number 2. From the following options, place the keywords in the correct order to create the configuration command that enables 802.1q trunking protocol on a switch port. This should be fun. So we would go into interface configuration mode for whatever we wanted to be a trunk, and we would type in switch port, trunk, encapsulation, .1q, and you got yourself a configured trunk protocol. Good? Good. Question number 3. A new switch with a unique VTP domain has a different VTP revision compared to the others in the switch stack. Which of the following would happen if the new switch establishes a trunk link to the stack of switches? Well, let's talk it through. We've got a stack of switches. Let's just say you got 3 switches right here. You plug in another switch that has a unique VTP domain and a different VTP revision. Okay, well, answer A, the new switch will adopt the same revision as the other 3. If that were the case, it would have to have the correct VTP domain. Answer B, the new switch will not do anything. I would say that's the most likely answer at this point, because if you plug it in, even if it has a trunk port, it's not going to accept any of the VTP updates because it's got, again, a different VTP domain. New switch will compare the revision and discard anything different. Actually, it would if you get the theme here. New switch will negotiate a trunk link. No, it will not. No, it will not. It is not a trunking protocol. It is not a negotiation protocol. VTP is a replication protocol that will replicate VLANs between your switches. So the correct answer there is B. Question number 4. 3 switches have different VTP modes configured. Switch A is a server, B is transparent, and C is a client. What will switch B and C do with the new revision update from switch A? Okay. We aren't really shown how they're connected, so honestly, with VTP, it doesn't matter how they're connected. They're all going to replicate as long as they're in the same VTP domain as we just mentioned. So let's just say this is A, B, and C. We got a server, transparent, and client, right? So let's see. Switch B and C will update the revision to match switch A. Because switch B is transparent, it's going to ignore. It doesn't have a revision. It's always going to be 0. It ignores updates. Switch B does not forward VTP packets. I would disagree with that. Transparent switch will forward them through. It just ignores them. It doesn't look at it. So switch B will ignore the revision. That sounds better. And pass the update to switch C. Yes, ding, 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 ding. And switch C will create, add, or delete VLANs that differ. Ding, ding, ding. Yes. Choose 2 answers, and those are your correct ones. Good. Next question. Question number 5. What is the command on a switch to see all interfaces associated to a trunk? Answer. Oh, this is... I don't like this question, but it's valid. B, show interface trunk. Switch answered C, which is so tempting. By the way, if you ever get a command like this, remember typing in a shortcut would work. This would also work. So if it doesn't have a choose to, this would work regardless, right? Because right, you get the idea. So I know it's hard to remember those things. Show trunk. Nope. These are all invalid commands. B would show you which interfaces are trunk and which VLANs are actually being forwarded out of them, right? Question 6. Is this the last one? No, we got one more. The best way to segment traffic from multiple SSIDs on a wireless access point is to use tagging. True or false? And to that, I would say absolutely it's the best way to segment traffic from multiple SSIDs. You could say tagging, you could say VLANs. Essentially, it's having a wireless access point connected to a switch, and all the traffic that is coming out is being segmented based on the SSID that's joined. This SSID that's joined dictates what VLAN tag is affixed to those packets, thus providing segmentation. Good. Last question. Question number 7. When needing to create logical SVI ports for VLAN 10, which of the following commands will achieve that goal? I'm not sure I would have worded it that way, but you get the idea. Answer would be C. Interface VLAN 10 creates an SVI port. There is no command that says SVI in it. SVI is the logical concept. Now, the reason I leave that wording in there is because you will find on certification exams, you will also disagree with how they word questions. You'll be like, what are you even asking? I don't. You have to read slowly, methodically. I would say 50% of the exam is your skill and knowledge. The other 50% is your interpretation of the questions and answering it the best way. Good. You now are feeling pretty good and are approved to move forward on configuring network VLANs between switches, WAPs, servers, and more. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.